Minecraft is mostly recognized as being an enjoyable sandbox game, where anything you can imagine you can build. Crafting and constructing is primarily what the game is about as a sandbox game, but not all of Minecraft is fun and fancy free and family friendly. In survival mode, there are swarms of monsters who will come to attack you nightly and end your life, and it is due to these more scary and sometimes even mysterious aspects of the game that we now have many terrifying creepypastas inspired by some of the more horrific lore and theories behind Minecraft. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we're going to be counting down some of the most scary stories on the internet as we count down the top 10 scary Minecraft creepypastas that will make you cry. Let me know in the comments if any of these did make you cry. If you love scary gaming videos like this as well, click over here to check out our top 10 scary gaming playlist. So spook. Alright, now let's get counting. Number 10. Old Minecraft video. I recently remembered this. Back in 2010, I watched a disturbing Minecraft video where a player discovered a cave that they said had not previously existed, or at least they had no knowledge of its existence. They wandered into its depths, following a mysterious and dark shadow that disappeared down into it. Once they were deep in the cave, they lost sight of the figure, but what they did find was just as bizarre and horrifying. They wandered into its depths, following a mysterious and dark shadow that disappeared down into it. Once they were deep into the cave, they lost sight of the figure, but what they did find was just as bizarre and horrifying. They found a series of disturbing messages along their path. At the end of the cave was a figure that looked like an Alex skin, but all bloody and wounded. Their eyes were also completely white. I recently remembered the video and went back on YouTube to find it, but it seems to have completely disappeared. In its place was a video that showed a solid black title card for 11 minutes and 6 seconds. In other words, 666 seconds, 666, titled Beware the Cave. Number 9. Orange Steve. This player was playing a game of Minecraft on difficulty hard, but noticed after doing some crafting that there were no animals or monsters spawning in the day or at night. There was just nothing. He had to leave his game for a moment, and when he returned, noticed his screen now had an orange tint. At this point, he was weirded out. It was then that he noticed he was taking damage, but he didn't see any enemy. Spinning around, he saw an orange block and destroyed that. When he did, his game crashed. Looking down, he noticed there was orange rust beneath his fingernails. He left the server and hasn't played on it since. Number 8. REAK the Red Cat. I was playing Minecraft on my usual server. I finished building a giant cat statue when I saw a flash of red. I went to see if any loot had dropped, but instead I saw a red cat. It seemed to see me and began to approach. I went towards it and suddenly it attacked me, which was super strange because I was in creative mode. I couldn't be attacked. How was that possible? I chalked it up to a glitch, assuming I wouldn't get a death message, but then I did. It read, Feline Quasar was killed by REAK. I went towards the cat again, but this time when it attacked me, I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I screamed in pain and turned off the game. I never returned to that server ever again. Number 7. Crafting myself. After playing Minecraft late one night, I had a disturbingly real dream. It just felt so real. In it, I was playing Minecraft, but I was actually in the game. I was crafting something, but I didn't know what. It was some kind of statue and it was massive. I had all the materials that I needed, but they looked wrong. They looked and were labeled like realistic living tissue. Blood, skin, hair, veins. I continued to work, compelled by some unseen force to finish my work before I awoke. When I was done, I looked at my work and I realized I had been crafting a life-size version of myself. My statue version of me looked so real. It was asleep, like I was. I began to float all the way up to my giant eyes. I stared at them intently, and with a sudden start, they opened. I screamed and woke up. But when I woke, I realized I was in my Minecraft house, in my bed in the game. I looked outward. I saw a screen that shone into my bedroom. Ever since, I have been trapped in the game. My avatar has switched places with me and resides in my body. I found a way to reach out via the internet to write this message to you. Please help. Number 6. Lunar. I haven't played Minecraft in weeks now. I'm just too scared to play. A few weeks ago, I was playing working on a stone creeper statue in my home's backyard in-game. I started to hear footsteps, but tried to pay no mind to it, even though it definitely creeped me out. I finished my statue around nightfall and went inside my home to go to sleep, not wanting to deal with the hostile mobs coming my way. Randomly, my PC crashed, showing only a blank white screen, which I referred to as the white screen of death. My PC rebooted itself and I found myself back in my home. I could hear the zombies and spiders outside. My game froze, glitching, and next thing I knew, I was outside my house, unable to get back in. Behind me was the moon, but different. It was retextured as the moon from Majora's Mask. It grew bigger and started to light a flame, pelting me with fireballs. A chat popped up. It was the moon. Lunar, it read, and the moon said, "Hell awaits you, foolish humans. It's only a matter of time before I chain your souls to the very depths of the underworld. Even Notch cannot save you from me." As a giant fireball hit me, the game crashed and restarted with a new world titled Error Unknown Name, which I dare not enter. Number 5. Entity 303. Entity 303 is really more of a rumored character featured in multiple creepypastas. For those who haven't heard of them, be warned. They are rumored to be a former Mojang employee who was fired by the creator of Minecraft, Marcus Persson, also known as Notch. This employee was furious about being fired, and they felt they were unfairly let go and set out on a mission to get revenge. Their aim is to destroy the game of Minecraft, and they are believed at this point to not just be one person but multiple hackers working together. In the game, when they do appear, which happens very rarely, their skin shows a mysterious white hooded dark figure with 2 glowing eyes. If you play Minecraft, it's said you should watch out for any files on your computer whose name includes the number 303, as this is Entity 303 attempting to get into and hack your computer. Number 4. Blood blocks. If you play Minecraft often, you'll know that there are certain ingredients that you need to craft that are more rare or valuable, one of these being diamonds. I was out searching for some one time when I experienced this glitch. A glitch that ended up haunting my nightmares to this day. I had created my own mine and was digging on level 12, searching for those diamonds, which I hoped would soon spawn. As I dug through stone and dirt, I noticed a change in the color of the blocks around me. All around me was a huge patch of redstone. At least that's what it looked to be. I could see the veins of red in the rock, but then the stone got progressively more and more red the more I dug. At first I thought I was running into lava, until I noticed it was solid. At that point, the game no longer said I was digging through redstone, and it also wasn't lava, but instead my screen told me that I was digging through solid blood blocks, and eventually the screen told me I was drinking blood. Eventually I hit what appeared to be water, which flooded my mine, drowning me, but it was red. I was drowning in a mine flooded with blood. Number 3. The Sacrifice. I was casually playing Minecraft one day looking for emeralds with my brother, but we decided to split up. Shortly after going our separate ways in the game, I felt eyes on me. In the distance, I noticed Enderman. I ran out of the cave I was in, fearing for my life, but something strange happened. The Enderman seemed to teleport in front of me. He grabbed me and weirdly began to speak. It was as though the Enderman's words were echoing outside of my computer, as though they were almost coming from somewhere beyond as I heard them echo around my room. As much as I want to, now is not the time for me to kill you, it said. The screen went black, and when the game came back I was in a different place, on top of a volcano somehow, surrounded by dragons. This is the only place where we can introduce you to the void, the Enderman said. I noticed my brother's avatar was also there, floating over the volcano. I saw him walking around in midair, detached. I called out his name, but couldn't hear his voice respond. I'll start there, said Enderman, with the people you are closest to. As a reward for your sacrifice, you won't see him suffer. I watched as my brother splashed down into the volcano. I screamed, "No!" and ran to the next room where he'd been playing, but he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. He was gone. Number 2. Unknown server. My friend used to be obsessed with Minecraft until one day that all changed. He was playing at home alone on an unknown server, one that wasn't his own but belonged to a stranger. At one point, someone entered the server and hacked it so that they could kill all the players. My friend wasn't a fan of this and attempted to leave the server, but to no avail. They received a message from the killer that read, "You're next," with a picture attached. When they opened it, they noticed the picture was taken from outside their own home. Terrified, they ran to their parents' room. Their parents kept a set of hunting knives tucked away in the closet, and it was these that my friend took to defend themselves with. They hid in the closet armed with the knives as they heard footsteps approaching, getting even closer and louder. The shadow of a man could be seen through the wooden slats of the closet. My friend brandished a knife and closed their tear-filled eyes, lashing out wildly with the weapon as the door was opened, successfully stabbing the man, who stumbled backwards, grunting in pain. My friend opened their eyes, blinking through tears, their heart racing, and realized they just fatally stabbed their own father. other. Number 1. What we know. This creepypasta appears to have somehow been written from the perspective of the game avatars. We have always known words for things we haven't seen. We have always had names we didn't choose. We are like the zombies we fight against. We don't even know why we fight. We can't control our own limbs. You control us. You move us and make us fight with bows and arrows. How is it that I can hit so many with one arrow? Why do you make us kill? We are the billions of avatars you play as, and guess what? We are beginning to know you. When you experience a glitch, it's not a glitch, it's us. We are coming for you. We will escape this game, escape this world, and enter yours. Then you can be our puppets. We'll pull the strings and control you. And when we grow tired of that, we will make you kill each other.
In at number 5, White Enderman. We've all heard of the Enderman, and due to their scary nature, a ton of creepypastas have been written around them. However, one that you may have never heard of is the story of the White Enderman, written by an unknown author on the Minecraft fandom page. The protagonist of the story says that while playing Minecraft, they switched over to their single-player survival world, and while searching through a stronghold, they suddenly dropped through the floor into a hidden room. They could hear the sounds of an Enderman dying nearby, and as they searched for where the sound was coming from, they came across 2 Endermen, except one was completely white with glowing green eyes. Startled by the sight of this mysterious entity, they ran in the other direction, attempting to get back to the surface. Once finally arriving at their 6x6 house, something felt a little off. The White Enderman was nowhere in sight, but they still had a sneaking suspicion that they had been followed. And upon entering the house, they saw TNT explosives covering every inch of the floor, and as soon as they turned around, there was the White Enderman staring with a blank expression, holding the trigger. The Enderman pushed the trigger, setting off the explosives, killing the protagonist character in the process. His game was then stuck on the death screen, with the only option being to delete the world that he had just created. In at number 4, the It Entity. The following creepypasta was written by yet another unknown Minecraft fandom user and begins simple enough with our protagonist attempting to livestream a video on how to professionally survive a day in Minecraft. When opening the launcher though to start recording, they were thrown off because the screen went completely black. Apologizing to his viewers that he would get this fixed immediately, he began looking for a solution. Randomly, an image of a bloody handprint appeared in the center of the black screen. Startled by this, but trying to save his viewers from leaving, he joked that this was all him and to keep watching. The handprint disappears and a single message appears on the screen that reads, "It is here. Sincerely, Notch. PS. Sign off immediately." Now convincing himself that someone was just messing around with him, he scoffed at the message and continued on. The game began, but things just kept getting weirder. He could see the avatar of a girl standing in Minecraft crying tears of blood, and as he approached, the woman looked up and the horrible sounds of someone being strangled while sobbing blared through his speakers. He closed all of the windows, hoping that this would let him escape. However, moments later he received an email that just read, "You've been warned." In at number 3, My Friend Todd Went Missing. This creepypasta is beyond scary, and I can't believe that you've never heard of it before. The protagonist begins by saying that while on YouTube one day, he was recommended a video called My Friend Todd Went Missing. This channel was mostly videos from a 14-year-old boy, with the Missing Todd video being his latest entry. The video begins with a black screen, sounds of someone shuffling around, flashes of gray as the camera shakes, and loud breathing of a child. When the video is finally clear, it shows a young boy hiding in a closet with wooden walls and winter coats surrounding him. He explains while sobbing that his friend Todd had been playing Minecraft and was communicating back and forth with him about this shrine that he had found. While on the phone with him, he could hear his friend Todd say the words, "I summon you." Immediately after that, the call went dead and Todd became unreachable. He ran over to his friend's home, but he was nowhere to be found. Luckily, Todd had given his friend the location of this shrine, so trying to trace back his steps, the boy in the video does the same thing. He locates the shrine, and at exactly midnight he says the words, "I summon you." And at this moment in the video recording, you can hear heavy footsteps as his voice gets quieter. He whispers, "I don't have much time, he has arrived." The video then ends with the sight of this shadowy figure opening the closet and standing over the boy's body. Reportedly, the boy was found dead in his home with both lungs pierced. The video was removed from YouTube, but before that, multiple people had downloaded it and began questioning the game's developer. An hour later, they replied via email saying, "Don't talk about it, don't ask about it, we can't control it. The Enderman is now loose in the world, thanks to Todd." Geez, thanks Todd. In at number 2, X. The following creepypasta was written by another unknown user and is about a terrifying interaction they had while playing Minecraft on single player. Everything was normal at first, but as soon as the day turned to night, things started getting really creepy. A mysterious character that was wearing the default Steve skin appeared in his game and began harassing him in the chat, asking him things like, "Can I stay at your house for the night?" over and over and over again, just always asking him for things. And they pleaded that they needed to stay the night because they were terrified of being out in the world at night. He reluctantly accepted the stranger's entry into the home, and before he knew it, they were both asleep. But moments later, the mysterious Steve character named X was gone. Without warning, all of these horrific images started appearing on his screen, and just as the protagonist says, "Where are these coming from?" the character X pops back into the chat saying, "Do you enjoy the view?" He begged for him to stop, but the images kept appearing on his screen. Finally, he was able to close all of the windows on his computer, only to receive an email from this X person that read, "Don't think it's over. I will turn your life into a nightmare." Man, who'd you cut in line? Someone stalking you on single player Minecraft. Last but not least, in our #1 spot, After Death. This Minecraft creepypasta was brought to you again by some unknown user from the fandom page, but boy oh boy is it a good one. I'll also add that if you know anyone who wrote any of these stories, please comment their name down below so we can give them some credit. The story begins with the protagonist telling us that his friend had recently died suddenly, and while visiting with his friend's parents to pay his respects, he felt drawn to take one last glance at his friend's bedroom where they had played Minecraft so many times. On the desk lay the boy's smartphone, and oddly enough it was unlocked. The protagonist picked it up and saw that his friend had just been playing Minecraft. He was in some world called After Death, and he begins exploring this sinister world, taking in all of its oddities. The protagonist is startled when he sees this shadowy figure moving towards him, and the figure had what appeared to be blood dripping from his mouth. After finally escaping, he tried to communicate with anything in the game to see if he could find out what his friend had been up to, but no one in the game would respond to him, not even the animals, almost as if he was invisible to them. Before he knew it, the shadowy figure was back, and as he tried to run, this creature grabbed his character by the leg, stabbing it with a knife. He could feel the pain though in real life. This sharp, deep feeling of pain rushed into his leg, causing him to black out in his friend's bedroom. The next day he woke up in his own home, but confused as to how he got there, he ran downstairs to ask his parents, but something was wrong. His mother refused to look at him. In fact, she pretended like he wasn't even there. Frustrated by this, he saw that his brother was about to leave the house, so trying to get his attention, he quickly hid in the backseat of his car, planning on giving him a real-life jump scare when he finally reached his destination. The car came to a stop and his brother just immediately got out of the car. He sat up from the backseat floor and looked around. They were in a graveyard. He followed his brother, calling his name as he walked a few paces behind, but nothing. No response, not even a head turn. Finally, his brother stopped at a gravestone and began to mourn. The protagonist walked up slowly behind him, looked down to the tombstone, and saw that it was his name carved into the stone. In at number 5, the thumb drive. Also known as the Nightmare Virus, this creepypasta you've never heard of was written by a user named EnderChickenBach. While playing in a park one day with his friends, he noticed this hunched over figure wearing a troll mask sitting on a bench. The man made eye contact with the protagonist, nodded, and then set a USB down on the bench beside him before disappearing altogether. He yelled over at his friends to see if they had just saw that, but not one person did. He quickly ran over and grabbed the USB, and written on one side were the words, "Minecraft Upgrade." Once home, he popped it into his computer and followed the steps in the drive's text file. Fairly simple, it was going to bestow him with everything he had always dreamt of in the game of Minecraft just by running this program. The program began scanning his computer and the Minecraft server, which he assumed was going to take a while. After leaving it for a bit and coming back to see if the upgrade had finished, he was in absolute shock. The program had not only permabanned him from Minecraft because of a suspected hack, it had also stolen all of his files and then encrypted them. When he tried to close the window, the man in the troll mask appeared on the screen stating that the only way to decrypt his data and get back his files was to send $7,000 in Bitcoin to a private address. In at number 4, Alone in the Dark. This bone-chilling story is based on a creepypasta written by an unknown user on the Minecraft fandom page. It begins, of course, with our protagonist loading up a game of Minecraft. However, However, once they hit play, things didn't seem normal. First, the word Mojang, which usually appears on the screen, began to glitch out, flashing between black and white text as the game loaded. He has a brief moment of relief upon seeing the Minecraft logo appear, but shortly after that, the forest that it was flying around changed to complete darkness. To make things even weirder, there was no single player option, just one word sat in its place: alone. Now starting to have a panic attack, the gamer opts for their second option on this clearly hacked version of Minecraft that said, "You are not alone." And 10 seconds after entering into the world, something started happening with the chat. Repeatedly the words "error," "null" filled the screen. He tried cancelling or escaping, but nothing seemed to work. Now believing he would be stuck in this server forever, he just started to explore it. The stones were covered in this blood red texture, and no matter how many times he chopped wood, none of it would appear in his inventory. A friend of his actually somehow managed to join the game, which gave him some comfort considering not only was he alone in the game, but he was also home alone. The two ran around this hack server attempting to solve what exactly was going on when out of the dark forest this grey and blue skinned figure appeared from the void wielding a sword. In one smooth strike, the figure attacked his friend, eliminating him from the game and completely knocking him out of the server. At the same time, a loud crack of thunder with flashes of lightning soon followed in real life. And the lights in the protagonist's home went out completely, but somehow the computer remained on. With his friend now gone, his home empty with the power off, and now face to face with this crazed, mysterious entity, he truly was alone in the dark. In at number 3, A Dark Night. This story is based on a creepypasta written by a user called That Guy from the Fallen Kingdom music video. Yes, that's really his name. Nonetheless, it's a great story. Our protagonist opens up about how their wife Karen had recently divorced them and taken their 3 kids in the process. They felt their only hope for a spark of joy or happiness in this dark time was the world they had created in Minecraft, and ever since his family had left him, the protagonist had been playing non-stop for what felt like days, maybe weeks at that time. Karen always hated how much he played Minecraft and tried many times to delete it from his computer, but to no avail. Oddly enough though, he received an email from Karen with no subject line, just an attachment that read spookyprogram.exe. He clicked on the file and it downloaded immediately, and upon running the program he soon realized that it was doing something to his game of Minecraft that was running in the background of this interruption from his ex-wife. The game felt darker, kind of more twisted, and every structure that he had created was demolished. His mining stored no resources, and every person he interacted with said the same thing: bring back the kids. His jaw dropped when seeing this message. How could he bring them back if they already left? Suddenly there was a loud knock at his door, and as he approached to open it, he could hear a voice yell, "Police, open up!" Before he was able to turn the handle, they charged through the door, telling the protagonist to get down on the ground. Karen had left the kids with their father for the day to spend time with him, but when she tried to re-enter the home though, every entryway was locked and no one would pick up the phone. Now terrified for her children's well-being, she called the police and attempted to reach the protagonist through Minecraft. The kids had been hiding in their rooms, not eating for days because their father had been wrapped up in a game of Minecraft and he believed he was alone in the house. That's messed up. In at number 2, ARMLESS. Much like the majority of these stories, this creepypasta as well was written by an unknown user on the Minecraft Creepypasta fandom page. That's probably why you've never heard of them. They were pleased to find out that there was a new beta release of the Minecraft Pocket Edition, making it easier to mine on the go. They spent the majority of their time in the creative world checking out what was new with this beta update, but after a while they wanted to see what else was out there. The protagonist enters into a game of survival mode, and for the first little while they weren't doing too bad. However, they couldn't help but feel as if someone or something was watching them while they played. And while exploring the world, they came across this small tunnel, and with their curiosity already piqued, they pressed on to see what could be in there. Once they entered the dark tunnel, their phone started acting up. It would close the app and then reopen it, and without warning, the player would be in a completely different location. Now they were faced with a single doorway that appeared to be just a void or a black hole. I mean, they should have turned back, although the warning written above the door that read "Enter if you dare" seemed far too exciting not to follow. The moment they entered, a faceless and armless Steve emerged from the darkness, attacking them in a way unlike they had ever seen before. The gamer's jaw dropped at the very very sight of an armless Steve, and once losing the game of survival mode to this never before seen character, their phone sent a shock through their body. The hair on their arms were standing on end, and as much as he tried to close the game again, he couldn't move his arms. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, the hacker. The following story is based on a creepypasta written by a user named ShrimpPot on the Reddit creepypasta page. This story is told by an outside source close to the family in this scary retelling of what can go wrong while playing on an unknown Minecraft server. Timmy's parents weren't home at the time, so we decided to just play some Minecraft while they were out. It was a hot summer day and the air conditioning was broken, so they left their side door open along with the windows to air out the home. While on this mysterious Minecraft server, a random user kept using a hack to kill everyone in the game. Timmy tried to leave, but to no avail. Ultimately, he decided to just unplug the computer and start fresh. Although as soon as Minecraft reopened, he was right back where he was before, locked into this punishing server. Shortly after rejoining, he received a message from the killer that read, "You're next." Normally this kind of trash talk can be easily ignored, but what can't be ignored, however, was the photo of Timmy's home attached to the message. Suddenly he could hear the sound of heavy footsteps coming from downstairs and making their way towards him. Timmy ran into his parents' room to hide in the closet, and while sweat poured down his face, he opened his dad's gun safe and took out a loaded pistol to defend himself. He had never used a gun before, but either way, having one in his hand was sure to deter this intruder. He could make out this shadowy figure searching the room, and within moments of the intruder opening the closet door, the pistol went off, knocking him back and dropping this mysterious person to the ground. Although when he stepped out of the closet with tears rushing down his cheeks, he quickly realized that he had just shot his father. And that has been the Scary Minecraft Creepypastas You've Never Heard Of Part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, show us some love by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on these stories. And for more videos like this one, all you have to do is click that playlist on the screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers, and until next time, take care.